Wow. I exist. You exist. Those scuff marks on the wall exist. I'm in a new place. It's a different vibe. It's a different world. Every moment is new. We're also in the midst of a new moon. What am I doing today? Why am I an astrologer? What's the fucking point of anything? I sense that there are a lot of ideas rummaging about in my head, a lot of philosophies and principles and ideas. Wonder what sign that could be about. Probably any sign, really, because what if astrology is a big fucking joke? What if it isn't true? What if it's all nonsensical garbage? What if it isn't a good way of orienting ourselves through this experience of life? Am I doing a good job selling you on astrology? One thing that I want to make very clear, probably every single time I do a reading, is that making meaning and joy, making purpose and fun, any version of these words, any of them, I'm sharing ideas to help give you something to think about, to play with, to ponder as you move through life. I like working with individuals. I like working with natal charts. I enjoy it. I'm good at this game. Doing the general ones is very, very challenging because the idea of speaking to 7+ billion people on a planet that's slowly becoming deforested, more consumeristic, and all of these things that science suggests is a bit nuts. Humanitarian themes, bringing the water, how to serve humanity, the water bearer, Aquarius, ruled by Saturn. What do we have going on in Aquarius right now? We've got Saturn there. I don't know if you're going to be able to see my phone, but oh yeah, you definitely can. Saturn in Aquarius. What a wonderful thing. Saturn in Aquarius. It brought us things like COVID, the restrictive force, the limiting force of the universe, the god of death, the limits. I always use the example of the thing that holds the rules together. That's how I conceptualize Saturnal energy in its home sign, in a steady Aries sign where ideas are being killed off. Restrictive things, restrictive offerings, restrictive movements in order to serve others and the collective being restricted. That's a good thing in the sense that our money, our taxes, the things that I sort of more associate with Capricorn, the established, fixed, steady day-to-day structures, have to have people with a vision to carry them out and to bring them forward, right? And that's what I associate with Aquarius energy. Expertise in some ways, mastery of certain conceptualizations, certain practices. It's very, very much an air sign, which I associate with thought, thanks to the work of Deborah Silverman. Airy energy, sun and moon together. So the moon is gone from our perspective. Of course, we know the moon is still there. And eventually the light pollution from the earth may be so great because of electricity that we'll be able to see it fucking anyways. I don't know about that because the sun is pretty damn bright. But we've got this moon. We've got this moon that is now invisible. So the lunar receptive side of us, which is also an Aquarius, is not perceivable. You can't experience it right now. That means that the close to home embodiment that we can experience, because the moon is the closest thing to us, it orbits us, that sort of lunar energy, that receptive yielding force, not visible. We know it's there. We know it cycles. We know it emerges and sinks like waves, like tides, of course. We feel that energy, that feminine energy. And right now, it's gone. It's completely relinquished. It's not providing any more light for us at night. It's just completely done. Drop it all. What area of your chart should you just drop it all? Completely. Don't try to reflect any light back. You can't right now. There's nothing you can do. You can't be seen. It's the end of something. It's the representation of like a cycle being like done. There's a lunar new year also that's happening. I'm not as familiar with that as I am with astrological stuff, so I won't speak too much to it. But if you celebrate that, happy new moon, happy new lunar year. The building up is about to begin, though. The moon is about to work its way back up to being full. In this Aquarius state, there is a limiting god, Saturn, restricting, ruling over this Aquarius territory. And in the chart where the new moon is occurring, the rising sign is Libra. So all of this energy is sort of trining the ascendant. Why? Because Libra is an air sign, right? And Aquarius is an air sign. So the energy of the luminaries, the big ones, the sun and the moon, are kind of trining. What does that mean? That means there's this energetic flow, and it seems to be localized in the energy of the fifth house, which is romance, sex, creative energy, even children. There's like this energy focusing there of where there's like this sort of a new beginning. That's the chart of this moment, a new creative energy, a new undertaking that may be slightly quirky, may be ahead of its time, maybe something that isn't yet here. Someone's got to pioneer it. And I think Aquarius energy has the steadiness of resolve to do it. So maybe there's a new creative project, or maybe there's a new adventure that needs to commence, that you could shuck something off and let something go in order to invite in space for that new manifestation. So that's kind of the energy going on in Aquarius. These points are being squared by Uranus. The Uranus is a slow-moving planet, and we've had squares with Saturn for the better part of the past year or so. There is a needed tension to change the way that we consume things in day-to-day life. We need to make some changes. Taurus, I think, is the slowest habits that affect all of us. It's how we eat. It's how we are comfortable. And I think it's time to absolutely revolutionize that. Do you really need toilet paper? Can't you just take a shower? That's a big one. That's a big, crazy idea, isn't it? Most people can't even conceptualize it. It's like way too disgusting. But take a fucking shower if you don't have toilet paper. Are you eating a bunch of sugar? You are literally stupid for doing that. I don't like stupid, not in like a mean way. Just how fucking dumb are you if you're eating a bunch of processed sugar or drinking a bunch of processed sugar? Fucking dumb is what that choice is. And I don't know. I'm not saying that to be mean or to trigger your ego. I'm truly not. It's just wake up to the reality of your body. Grow the fuck up. There are some people who have blood sugar issues who need to, have little bits of sugar and stuff. I'm not a doctor. I don't want to pretend that I'm a doctor. But it is fucking stupid to eat a bunch of processed sugar. It doesn't make any sense. It's so different than our evolutionary background. It's so different from the tribal roots from which we've come. Wow. Let's make that change. Let's invite in better habits into our everyday to-day thing. That energy is kind of tense with this new creative energy. So there needs to be this pull. I would invite this creative energy to be grounded in this new change, to invite a new shift into your creative life that is connected to a transformation in how you go about business in your day-to-day. Now, the established structures of our society, the long-term lasting behaviors that maybe are generational more so, because Saturn is much slower in Capricorn energy, that's where Mars is, which is great news, because Mars and Saturn actually in Capricorn, the two malefic planets, do very well there, because it takes a lot of drive, Martian energy, to get shit done. That makes permanent changes. So having Mars in Capricorn is nice because it's like you can really push against a wall when they're maybe even break it down. Like if you've got enough boom. Venus in Capricorn, much more challenging, I think, because Venus is much more concerned with like the immediate Tauresian needs. I don't think it enjoys as much the finer things of Capricorn as it does the finer things of Taurus. Why? Because the Taurus ones are achievable now, and Capricorn is more of a long-term thing. It's difficult to, for me, because I have Venus in Taurus, to talk about it outside of contrasting that experience. They're both earthy, so they're both like, they want a good embodied experience, but I want it right now, and I'm not going to be able to escape that right now thing. It's very strong for me. Like a Capricorn Venus still has the desires to cuddle, but it's almost a more workhorse kind of a cuddle. It's like, we will build something lasting together, and it will be super comfortable, and it'll just be so stable and wonderful and lasting. And I'm, as opposed to Taurus, which is like chocolate in my mouth right now. You know, there's this kind of differences. Pluto and Mercury are conjunct at this time in Capricorn. Mercury is retrograde, I think, but it's about to go straight. Mars is going straight. Venus is going straight, or direct is the term I should use. Yeah. I'm not sure how much else there is to say. Jupiter is in Pisces doing its thing. Neptune's there, so both the modern and traditional ruler of Pisces, even though modern rulership is sort of something that it doesn't really make sense. If I'm going to use the practice of ancient astrologers, I'm going to use it based off of like the ancient practice. I don't really conceptualize Neptune as the ruler of Pisces. It doesn't really make sense. I think Neptune is connected to certain things. If we're going to play the game of astrology, sure, but regardless, the system of astrology. So we take the Pisces waters, the merging of everything, all the fish, one person, one fish, one energy shifting, and everything else just sort of following along with it, just kind of flowing with the course. There's a genius that's required. There's an intuitiveness, a receptiveness that is amazing. It's part of survival. It's swimming upstream to go to the point where you know you're supposed to breed because it was successful. I mean, there's bonding, there's salmon, there's all of this energy in the universe. It's so complicated and massive. Jupiter's there. Jupiter is an expansive thing. The ocean is deep. They go together. They make sense. There's a truth. There's a truth to the ocean. There's a depth to it. There's a vastness to it. There's a truly life-giving part of it. And Jupiter is wonderfully that, but the ocean is also full of strange things. Neptune in Pisces more points to those. The creatures appearing and disappearing out of ink clouds. Wide, mystical terrain. Beautiful coral reefs there, and suddenly chalk white and dead. Like, what energy do we have whenever the planet of expansion is in the big waters where it can really swim free and go all sorts of different places on a current, you know? And then you've got Saturn in the coldest part of winter. Steady, restrictive, just limiting. They're both in their zone. So you're being pushed and pulled and finagled exactly where you are. I can say that about everyone. You're exactly where you are. You're doing exactly what you should be doing, in that it's happening and it's unarguable. Something has propelled you to this exact point. Are you happy? Are you satisfied with it? Go in the direction of what feels better. Be smart. There's so many principles and things that I could share, general trends and ideas, but are they really beneficial to you? Do they affect your chart? My chart as a Virgo rising has this Aquarian energy taking place in the form of my work and health and new work routines. Makes sense. Mars, Venus, Mercury, and Pluto are all in my 4th house of home and ancestry. And I've definitely been feeling the urge to kind of take a look back at my family, see how they're doing. I feel that. I've been moving a lot. I just settled into this new apartment that you can see on the 1st. February 1st is when I first move in, but he allowed me to come in earlier, and yeah. Is astrology true for me? Hopefully this new moon energy will relate to potential new career opportunities. I did start an OnlyFans recently. You know, I've started my consulting business. I've started all of these offerings. Potentially creating seems like a good idea, like writing and being involved with theater. There's so many different things to try to do. Oh, so many different things to try to do. I take it one breath at a time, one moment at a time. I get to talk to my friends soon, which is exciting. I'm grateful for that. Anything else I want to say? This energy seems to be clustered around the chart of the moment, at least. Your creative expression, your work, and your home, with a little bit of deep diving into maybe something hidden from other people. I know that that's very general, but I don't know how to speak specifically without a birth chart. It doesn't really work that way. But these general energies do seem to be oriented towards your connections and relationships with your own creative energy and joy and other people. That seems to be the cluster of the heavens that this energy is localized on at the specific moment of the new moon, and that energy is, of course, different. It's all about associations and feeling into energies and trusting the stars to offer inspiration for private sessions if that's what you want to do, or again, talking about general trends based off what we've seen in the past when these energies have aligned. There's many great astrologers out there. Some of them are very expensive. Some of them are very good. I imagine some of them are better than I am, but I'm pretty great. What I do. It's a storytelling association, and I think it's most primed for people who really do want to make shifts and changes. I don't know if you need it. I don't know if you can afford it. My rates are pretty great right now. Obviously, message me if you really do want to talk to someone, because I do enjoy doing it. But I do need to be compensated energetically so that I can continue on existing. Love, light, and the snake's bite. Well, it is time for me to begin a new idea, a new habit. For me, new health routine, new work. I pursue the releasing of health habits and ideas that are not serving me, like being dehydrated. It's one of the only ones I think I'm truly struggling with. Let it go. Wake up and do a little stretching. That sounds like a good one. I'm talking about me, though. Good luck.